There we go. Recording started.
Okay, good.
Welcome back, man.
Hey, it's like I never left.
You're still in London.
Still in London. It's amazing how long you can stay in London
Yeah,
on
man.
podcasts. Yeah.
You can stay here all day.
Exactly. I've not seen outside London at all.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
airport, Uber, hotel.
Yeah, pretty much. That was my yesterday. I'm luckily I met one of the marketing people at one of the people that or one of the companies that I talked to a lot. I finally got to meet in person yesterday, and that was like for lunch. And I'm like, okay, and now back to the 8 hours worth of meetings after that. And so this morning when I woke up, I was like, maybe I should go outside, and remember that I'm in a whole different country.
Yeah,
Yeah,
might be.
yeah, fine. It's hard. Yeah, you can't tell. It's all good.
Fight Club.
Fight Club,
Have you
Chuck.
have you found a London Fight Club yet?
Uh don't worry, I will tonight. I've been doing a lot of boxing workouts, shadow boxing workouts
Ooh.
for the past couple of weeks. So in my mind at least, I remember how to throw a punch, and have just been trying to get back up to that point to where um you know I yeah. So
Where are you going? Where are you
yeah,
going, buddy? You gonna
yeah,
hit people?
yeah. No. But if yeah, you know, I- before we get into it, and really thinking about Fight Club as well too. Maybe I'm just weird, but
Well,
okay,
we know that, but
I am just weird. But in this sense, like I still, I still size up people all the fucking time. And
absolutely.
sometimes it's a just like a you look at somebody and you're but there's sometimes where I look at somebody and go, how could I take them out? And if I had to, not like the psychopath comes
No,
out,
I understand.
but
Right.
and so but thinking about Fight Club too, and what we're about to go into, like yeah, I don't think that I really want, at 48 that I want to get involved with the Fight Club anymore.
Right. No. Well,
But
it depends.
yeah, but there's a certain part of me that does miss some of
Yeah.
that um that misses that world. But now it's more like if I train on something, it's more to be ready for if something were to happen.
Sure.
Not actively go out and,
Right.
hey, how can I, how can I not defend myself, but go into the offensive. So
Yeah.
anyway.
It's fun. I like the sport of it.
Mhm.
Um, it's good stuff. So I can never pronounce his name. Chuck
Mm.
Palahniuk.
Oh, that's better than I've ever done it. So yeah,
Palahniuk. Palahniuk.
I think you had it right.
Chuck whatever.
Yeah.
It's this Shreya Badonia, another name, whatever, Medium article
Mhm.
that I don't remember, me or you or somebody came across 6 quotes from Fight Club that hits you in the gut.
Yeah,
But it's just a chance to put Fight Club in a podcast. Um,
exactly. As we all should. I'm gonna do it in my financial services podcast soon too.
yeah. Plus, they got this cool
Yeah, that is an awesome picture.
from Shreya there.
It
It's cool picture here. Um,
almost looks like the referee's about to punch somebody too.
I think he is in the middle of it.
It's still so it almost, what it reminds me of? Do you remember the picture from at the end of Rocky, was it Rocky 3 with Apollo and Rocky when like it's it's after everything's already happened. Uh no, Rocky 4 with Drago. And they're like they're is that Rocky 3? Damn it. Anyway, so the
Rocky
one
3 had Mr. T.
okay,
Had Clubber
so
Lang. Come on,
yeah.
man.
So I think Rocky 4 had Drago in
He
it,
went to
and
Russia. Yes.
yeah, and at the end, no, it can't be, right, it can't be Rocky 4 because, spoiler, Apollo dies. So it's Rocky 3, and at the end of it, it's just the two of them. I'm right on this one now. It's
You
just the
sure
two
about
of
that?
them in Apollo's like his home ring, and they're kind of dancing around, and Apollo's like, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Yes.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm sure." And and he's like, "I didn't hear no bell," and so Apollo goes, "Ding, ding," and then
Yes.
then they both like
They
start,
freeze.
and then the freeze frames, and then
Yeah.
you've got the picture of the two of them striking that turns into a painting. I
Right.
always thought that that was the most awesome thing. There's Apollo. I was
It
in a
was
movie.
cool.
I was in a movie with him once. I never got to
You're in a
meet
movie
him.
with Carl Weathers?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
movie?
The American Warship.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, but I unfortunately I was in Mario Van Peebles was in that too. And I was in with him and kind of met him, but
Mhm.
I didn't I wasn't in the scenes with Carl Weathers.
I remember when you went off to be in that movie.
Yeah, long time. That's
That
like
was cool.
2014, long,
That's
long time
yeah,
ago.
yeah, that's cool. Carl
Uh,
Weathers is awesome.
he is that man. Like I'm so sad that I was not in those scenes with him, because I really wanted to meet him. But
Well,
I probably,
his character in The Mandalorian is just great. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's a great guy, and I love the interviews with him. He has no idea like what like he's just like I don't know any of this. I'm just playing this
I wasn't
character.
in it. I wasn't in it, so I don't really
Yeah, he
care.
doesn't know anything about it at all. He doesn't
I was
care.
filming something else at the time. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
I was Chubbs in with Adam Sandler. The alligator bit my hand off. Anyway,
Anyway, that picture reminds me of that. That's all.
yeah, that was cool. Yes, but he did die in Rocky 4.
Yep.
Sadly, not in real life, but in the movie.
Yeah,
I never read the book Fight Club.
I have. I read that one, and I read he's got another one that's weird. It's
He's
like,
got a few that are weird.
yeah, but the other, the one that I read was like, it's something about he's on a flight and he's crashing the plane on purpose, but it's like he's like Mennonite or something. Mennonite's gone bad.
Hmm.
I forget that. Anyway, but yeah, she's right. Like he is one of the darkest,
Yeah,
writers. Even more dark than Stephen King, um, because like these aren't horror,
right.
books.
He's writing about society. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Well,
Anyway,
this first one she pulls out, and you've read the book, and I've seen the movie. I've heard the movie's not far off from the book, although they
yeah,
change. Obviously, every time they make a movie adaptation from a book, it gets changed a bit. But I've heard that it's pretty close, and I don't know. You could confirm or deny that, but
yeah, it's pretty close.
this first one here, I let go, lost in oblivion, dark and silent and complete. I found freedom. Losing all hope was freedom.
Mm,
What do you get out of that one?
okay, what what I get out of that one,
But
is
aside from her post,
well, well, no, but she also goes on to say, when you don't have hope,
yeah,
you have no. When you don't have hope, you have no fear. Um, yeah,
yeah, there
I
you go.
I think some of these quotes are gonna be counterintuitive to some of the things that we normally talk about, and the whole positive aspect of life, positive thoughts and everything. Um, but I do think though that there have been times in my life that, you know, I mean, this is almost hitting rock bottom, right?
Yeah,
And and at least how I interpret the quote. And when you hit rock bottom, yeah, you've lost all hope. But then you have to come back. Because if you
hmm,
don't come back, and we said before, like if you don't get off the mat, then that's the end. And I don't know, when you don't have hope, you have no fear. Like
well,
I guess you care about nothing else. So at that point, fuck
yeah.
it, you do whatever.
It's kind of like I have nothing to lose.
Right,
I go
exactly.
for it. I don't have anxiety over it.
Yeah.
There's another side to that though. Whenever, not when your biggest fear comes true, but I think once you've achieved something, like there's always like Carl and I talk about like after a conference, there's sort of a depression,
Yeah.
or after a big event, there's like a letdown, you
Yeah.
know, like it didn't go quite like I wanted, or I had to change certain things, or it went well and it's over.
Yeah.
And now I'm like starting over with something. Um, and for him and for me too, we talk about that's a great time to change things.
Yeah.
Like that. And I'm looking at it from a positive aspect, not necessarily like, when the worst thing that I'm afraid of happens. And I think it can happen on either sides of the spectrum. Like
Mhm.
now's a good time to change things. My expectations have either been met or lost,
Yeah.
and wherever they're coming from, you know, you can live peacefully in the fact that you're working on things, you're changing things.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how you see it, but
Well, um, you were talking about watching The Terminal List, the Jack Carr, and that
yeah,
I listened to the Jack Carr novel, and then am watching that right now. And actually, this is kind of what came up in that too. Like you know, the basis of the book and the basis of everything is that he's a Navy SEAL that's lost his
yeah,
unit.
he lost his yeah, his unit
Yeah,
first.
lost his
Yeah,
unit first, then, lost his, wife and daughter,
yep,
and basically everything that he cared about in his life, career, all the above is gone.
yeah,
And, like, at that and he talks about it in the book, and I do wonder how it kinda comes out, if it comes out in the show,
yeah,
um, but he talks about the fact that, like, basically I have nothing left in my life that actually matters to me anymore. So now what?
yeah, yeah.
And
Well, and
like
in his case, I kill everyone, but
oh,
whatever.
yeah. But yeah, well, and yeah, not only did he lose everything that he cared about, but then the things that he cared about was getting revenge. And
Yeah,
and something in
and
an interview
that
with
dude definitely wasn't scared.
no, no, but something in an interview with Jack Carr that I heard was he said that, as a writer, and I think I told you too, I've been writing something recently, but he said that, like, he took a Post-it note, and he said that sorry. He said that his editor said that the one thing that, new writers have trouble with is staying on point and
Mm,
staying on their theme, basically. And so what he did is he wrote a Post-it note, and it just said "revenge." And then he put that wherever he went, he had that Post-it note that he's like, "That is what kept me on point." Any single time I had to make a decision on where this character was going, it was always about revenge. And
wow.
yeah. And so, like, I mean, you see that and you read that as well in when he does, yeah. Um, yeah. That
Yeah.
it was the interesting thing is, like, the next novel is more like a, Tom Clancy book, because it has, like, all these things coming into it at the same time. Uh,
Is that True Believer? Is the next one, or is it Fathers and Sons? I don't remember. Or
uh,
Savage Sons. Savage Sons is one of the newer ones. I think it's True
right,
Believer.
True
It's the
Believer,
next
yeah,
one. Yeah.
I'm like I'm in the 4th one right now, whatever they all are,
Yeah.
and so he you know, sorry, it's totally off topic, but he expands as a writer, I believe,
I'm
um
sure. Yeah.
Um, but, uh, but yeah, where was it? Savage it goes Terminal List, True Believer, Savage Son,
Yeah.
and I'm in Devil's Hand, and I think he just released another one
Yeah.
recently.
He's got a new one.
Yeah. But so the character, the James Reese, like, not only did he lose everything that he loved, but he almost lost everything that he hated because again, he took everything out.
Yeah.
And so at that point, like, what do you do?
Yeah. Who are you now?
Who are you now? And where do you go from that? And I don't even know if that's what she's talking about here, but it's you have to make that decision
Hmm.
of do I change? Do I, how do I become the next version of me?
Yeah.
Whether that's every 5 years like you, or
Hey, watch it.
that's what your wife said.
I
Um,
know.
but or if that's, um, or if that's after, some type of, major event in your life, good or bad.
Right.
Um, we have to make that decision again to who am I and where do I go from here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Did you binge the series?
I started to, but then after 36 hours, like I started it yesterday when I
Oh,
got,
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. I
because
feel you.
I had to finish Stranger Things first on July 1st, even though it came
Okay. All
in
right.
May.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my youngest son watches Stranger Things. I haven't caught up with the
What?
um original, not this most recent season's
Season 4.
run to see the second part of this season.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
So I got like two or three left in that one.
Okay,
Anyway,
I won't give you shit anymore.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, you are not your job. You're not how much money you have in the bank. You're not the car you drive. You're not the contents of your wallet. I remember this scene in the movie
Yeah.
where this quote came from, and I believe it was right before he blew up his own apartment.
Yep.
Spoiler alert: he's the same person as the
Yep.
guy doing all the bad shit. Anyway,
Oops.
yeah, whatever. Is it a spoiler if it's like 15 years later, 20 years
No,
later?
no, no. I'm
I
trying not to give too much away on the Jack Carr stuff, but yeah, Fight Club, it's
well,
okay if you haven't seen it.
yeah.
That's your own.
Well, I was watching some YouTube thing and some guy was talking about Lord of the Rings and then one of the comments was like, "You spoiled the ending" or whatever. I'm like, "Bro, if you're if a guy's YouTube video is spoiling Lord of the Rings, like you need to catch up on your reading. I don't
It's,
think you can
it's written in
technically
the
classify that as a spoiler."
it's written in the 1950s, and the movies are from the 1990s.
I
So,
know, like he
uh,
spoiled Moby Dick, the ending. Like,
oh
did I
no,
really?
they all die.
Do I really spoil it? Anyway, you're not your job. You're not how much money you have in the bank. You're not the car you drive. You're not the contents of your wallet. Well, no shit, Nick, Chuck.
Well, but but the thing is it's easy. It's easy to think that
I know.
you are your job. It's easy to think that, whether you have no money or you have a lot of money, that that that's what defines you. And every midlife crisis that's discussed about some man over the age of 50, talks about buying buying a new car and a new wife.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, uh, and then and the contents in your wallet, and uh, we could talk. You were talking earlier about the contents of your bag and things like that. Is what's in your pockets. But
for real,
yeah,
man.
yeah. The only thing that people will remember is how kind you were and how you treated people.
No
Um,
shit.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I saw a friend of mine had on. Back when I gave a shit about Twitter, and you tried to come up with a witty, pithy quote to put as your like tagline. They said like people won't remember uh who you are, but they remember how you treated them or how you made them feel or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
how you make them feel.
yeah, I dig that, man, and that's true. I mean, you got to think I'm not there yet, but when you're laying there on your deathbed, like all that shit doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
Like, what's gonna matter? What's gonna matter is who's standing next to you. You know,
Exactly. Or
and that's
like,
definitely a military thing I know. But like, it goes beyond that too, man. It's just only because they're when you're in that world or combat or whatever, you're faced with your mortality, like every 10 minutes or whatever it is,
right.
it puts you in that mindset and becomes a reality. I don't know that for most people, their mortality is a reality, you know?
No, no,
And that's
but
why we were talking earlier about, the younger me, the earlier me in my career would get upset about these trivial things.
Mhm.
I'd like fixate on the competition or be competitive with somebody in a stupid work environment or something. And, I can see now 15 years later, none of that shit matters.
Yep.
Like half of those people aren't even in business anymore. They don't even work in the industry. Like it doesn't matter. But what does matter is whether I was a dick or not. For me now, carrying that baggage.
True. You know, think about the general philosophy of this movie and this book. Um, is basically like there's somebody. What's the main character? I forget the main character's name. The main two characters' name,
Yeah.
but but basically like
Brad Pitt and Ed Norton.
well, yeah, but
I don't know. I didn't read the
thanks.
book.
Yeah, they have no real names. Oh, it was coming to me and now it's gone.
Yeah.
But basically, I feel that the whole basis of the book is like, here's a guy who, things are okay, but very vanilla life,
Right.
um, and that there's no real strife in his life, and so
Mm.
this is the searching out, maybe for you almost search out for the strife in order to come to a better understanding of yourself. And so for military people, usually
Yeah.
that strife may come to you, and but I think that like when that quote at the end of the movie, that quote is at the end of the book, right? When yeah. Oh no, wait. Is it the apartment or is it the I forget now.
I don't. Yeah.
But I almost think that is the entire basis of the book. It's the you are not these things that are material. It's and even I think she's inserting the how you treated people. But it is the things that you do and how you act and what you seek out. And so he was not happy with his life, and whether it was psychotically or not, he sought out something different for his life to make himself better, worse, not sure, by the end of the book, if
Right.
it's better or worse, but sought out something that was a different version of himself. And I'm sure that the Brad Pitt character version of it was, like, you know, it's the exciting one. It's the one that, you know,
Yeah.
that you the cooler version of who you are and want to be. But it's anyway, I think it's just more of a, you know, sometimes you are not what you have, you are what you do and how you think and how you act.
Yeah. I agree. I was just listening to Joe Rogan was just on Lex Friedman's podcast. I don't know if you listen to Lex Friedman.
Sometimes, yeah.
I think he's brilliant. Um,
Yeah.
well,
He is a certified genius, but no, I
yeah,
get he is.
literally, yeah. Anyway, that he was talking about, or Joe Rogan, take him or leave him. He was talking about how he creates his own shit. So he goes in the gym and just trounces himself, and then he does cold plunges and hot sauna work and just puts himself through the ringer. But he does it to sort of level set his brain,
Yeah.
to give him, because guy's probably got a pretty nice life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
How do
he
you make
get
it shitty in order
he's
to grow from it?
well, he talks to like cool people
Yeah.
every day, and makes a podcast, and that's basically all he needs to do. And then,
Yeah.
his other gig is he goes and he talks about UFC fights
Right.
as they happen. I
Yeah.
mean, he got there because he's got skill. He got there because he's a smart dude. He got there because he worked hard. I get it, but it's pretty cool.
It
So
is.
you think about somebody like that, and he gets paid a shit ton of money for it. So he's probably got everything he wants.
Mhm.
He can talk to anybody he wants.
Yeah.
They're literally debating whether he talks to the president or not, and he decides, no, I don't want to.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, so how does he find?
Where do
How does he find the shit to deal with?
where do you go from there? Again, like you can I maybe those are two sides of the same coin. You can hit rock bottom and like, fuck, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
But what happens to the ultra rich and
I mean,
famous and get everything you could ever want and you never want for more? Like,
yeah,
then what do you do? Like, we've seen the examples of especially the kids, the child actors, and just
Mhm.
things
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, like, they achieve so much success at such a young age that, like, they just fucking go crazy.
Yeah.
And, and so where do you go from there when you have no more wants? Um, yeah.
Well, and that's this quote, that maybe self-improvement isn't the answer, maybe self-destruction is the answer.
Hmm.
Not on the scale of the main protagonist of Fight Club,
Right.
where he literally wants to blow up an insurance building or whatever it was. Because let's not do that. Um, but I mean, self-destruction in terms of a hard ass workout,
Yeah.
and that's, I mean, I know that I've had people in the gym, and I'm not David Goggins, I'm not any of these people. But I do hard workouts. I'll like tomorrow, we're going to do one for like 3 hours. We're going to do a cold plunge at the end to test ourselves mentally, to sort of level set for the month. I think there's something to that. And that's a form of self destruction. That's a
Yep.
form of creating something you have to overcome,
Yep.
and it's on a small scale, but it helps when, you get to the office on Monday and, there's a half dozen emails or people you don't want to talk to.
Hmm.
It puts it in perspective. I mean, that's not the end of the world. I mean, who gives a shit at that point?
When you get into basic training, um, so I went through 16 weeks because I was infantry. I think maybe other things are like 8 weeks. I can't remember. And at least in the Army, Marines different, Navy different, all the above. But I think that the core tenets, and this is why you will hear um, people who are, let's call it old military,
Mm.
like, all these new kids are a bunch of, fucking pansies that can't take it. Um, but but and also, like, when we were in, we talk about, oh yeah, that other unit over there is we call them cakewalks and things like that. And what's a cakewalk? Now I'm hungry. But it was like, they're really easy over there. So,
Yeah.
and there were the complaints about the shark attacks, which was basically when you get off the cattle car, um, uh, tractor trailer truck that brings you from in processing to
Mm.
your basic training unit. Like, you get off, and the drill sergeants are yelling at you, and get you in formation, dump out all your shit, and then repack it, and then maybe dump it again, and then, like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever bags you have, hold them up, in two
Mm.
arms, and, like, just it's, a constant barrage of just fucking with you.
Mm.
But there's purpose to it. And
Oh, yeah.
so then, I actually don't know. I don't know if you've ever heard of a stress card. Um,
No.
somebody out there tell me if they're bullshit or not, but I being from the infantry, I always heard that, everything else is so much easier than the infantry, and that, in other basic trainings that might be for, like, for accounting, which is needed, it's a needed field within the army, or, like logistics or things like that, there are people that they could actually, like, if they felt like they were being, mentally abused, they could hold up a stress card. Okay, man, there we go. Um,
I just
I don't know if it's real or not.
I don't
Um,
know.
but hey, there's the bears. But
Yeah, I don't
like,
know.
I always heard that, like, they could hold up a stress card and go, oh, you're being too hard on me. So
Huh.
there's all that, but the thing to remember that you do not remember when you're actually in basic training is the philosophy of basic training is to break you down, is to destruct who you
Yeah.
are so that you can become the version that the military, the army, whoever it is, wants you to be. And that's a physical breakdown, like, your first meal when you go into basic training. Again, this is for context. This is 1998, so I
Mhm.
don't know what happens before then. I don't know what happens now, but
Probably the same.
It probably is the same, but it just sounds, I don't know. But your first meal is 5 minutes, not enough
Mm.
time to eat
No,
everything.
it doesn't.
But but the thing is like, and then they look at you like, why the fuck didn't you finish all your spinach? Like I don't like spinach. I don't like it. Like I can eat it. I don't want to eat it. Okay, you only had 5 minutes anyway. You're out of here. So so they break you down physically, in those first couple of days, like it's no, I don't care if you came in 20 pounds overweight like I did.
Mm,
I don't care if you came in like an extreme specimen. Like
right.
they break you down, and especially if you are 18 years old and you're built like
Ah, yeah.
like they still not beat the shit out of you, but they beat the shit out of you physically, as far as just they will continue to drop, give me 20, drop, okay, give me 40,
Yeah.
and it's a continual um beat down physically, because they're trying to beat you down mentally.
Yeah.
And you might think in the outside world, everybody outside the military, like, that's fucking horrible. And that's and that is discussed by people who do not know.
Right.
But if you analyze it, it is, they are breaking you down to build you up, to make you a better version of yourself, because they need that better version of
Mm,
yourself to be a active, productive employee, to be an
yeah.
active, productive, like, that doesn't
Yeah.
happen. That doesn't happen, or I'm sorry, that doesn't work as well maybe in the in an office setting. Even the, like, I need you, but sometimes the unlearning and the destruction of what you already know makes you a better person, makes you a
Yeah.
better, um, you know,
Well,
like,
we're talking about self-help,
yeah.
right? I think that's one of the
You're so
self-help porn is finally
honest.
seeing. I'm not going to click on that link because I don't know want to say that it's self-help porn is finally seeing a downfall.
Yeah.
Um, I I don't know. I don't know. As much as I'm into this world, I don't really know about self-help that much.
Mhm.
Um, but I do know that this quote, "Life's greatest lessons are learned through pain," is spot
Mhm.
on, and I think that's what they're employing. Is what you're describing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that to your office mates.
No,
like,
but
like, hey, I didn't like that email you sent. You got to do 50 push-ups. I mean,
God, I wish I could do
I
that.
know, right? It'd be great,
Yeah.
but you can do it to yourself. You can do it
Yeah.
to yourself, and that's what Rogan's talking about. It's what all these guys are talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
you level set, you change your perspective through, um,
Through going through some hard shit. And what
yeah,
it
like
is,
doing
yeah.
100 push-ups. The mental clarity that comes after that, and
Yeah.
the self-discipline that you build in yourself to get through it, it's priceless.
Yeah. I
Um,
I I wanna
but it's not a one and done.
no.
You have to
No,
do it all
no.
the time. You have to
Yeah.
keep working on it because
Yeah.
humans are intrinsically attracted to the easy, comfortable thing. We all are. I don't care how tough you are. Even David Goggins talks about how he has to constantly fight himself because he's always like getting weak and he's a little overboard with it. But like
Sure.
even he feels it,
Yeah.
like
If you don't feel uncomfortable, then you're not growing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know what this graphic in her thing is. The cavalry is not coming. I get it.
Yeah,
I don't I don't remember that from the book.
no, but
I mean from the movie.
we talked about this in a previous podcast about, No One's Coming. And
Yes.
and
Yes.
funny, I don't know if it's in the Terminal List, the show, but it is like, maybe it wasn't the Terminal List, but maybe it was like um it was like another one. There was an attack, and one of the characters actually says, to another character, "No one else is coming. It's up
Yeah.
to us." And
Right.
I was like, "Hey, we just talked about that." That was
Well,
probably like 2 or 3 books
that's
in
like
for
a
me.
T-shirt. That's like a
Yeah,
Ranger Up T-shirt and patch too. I'm
yeah,
sure. I mean, I think I have one on my wall here. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, no one's coming. It's up to us. Is literally
yep,
right there.
yep,
Um, but yeah, I mean that's kind of, but that's also the thing we are just talking about. Like putting yourself through these tests or these little uh, hard sessions or whatever. I mean, it kind of helps you with that too,
Yeah.
because we're humans. I think we're just intrinsically lazy and self-absorbed or whatever. We're just waiting for someone else to do it.
Yeah.
There's a
Right.
reason why you like nowadays people will film somebody getting mugged versus helping stop it.
Yeah.
You know, uh, just because somebody else will take care of it,
Yeah. That's
but they
who is.
won't.
Yeah. They won't. No, I got you.
You are not special. You're not a beautiful and unique snowflake. You're the same decaying organic matter as everyone else. We're all part of the same compost heap.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he made soap out of the whatever came out of people doing liposuction.
Yep.
And then he sold it back to the same, he made like high-end soap out of their own fat and then sold it back to them to clean themselves. That's a dark metaphor. Dark metaphor. But like there's something so sweet about that.
No, I agree. And you know what? I also think from this particular movie it's probably been more on Twitter over the past like 10 years, but people calling people snowflakes. I don't know, like my understanding of that term is that it's more of a like you think you're special, but you're not, which is what this quote is. Maybe it means something else, and if it means something else and it's offensive to people, sorry, that's not the intention. But like everybody thinks that they're special, and guess what?
Right.
Sure the fuck you are. Like you need to see yourself as special to a point. You need to see yourself as like, I am unique. You are unique. Everybody's unique. Even twins and triplets. Like each one of those people are unique because of the things that go through their head and the things that they learn and the things they experience, feel, all the above.
Yeah.
You tell me. Um, but like, but don't think that you're such a, snowflake, with your uniqueness the point is, you're no
Yeah.
better you're no better nor worse than anybody else.
Right.
You have to understand that in order to I think, have empathy for other people.
I think so.
Yeah, everybody's gonna die.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think you absolutely have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, you like you're saying, you do have to um understand you are unique. It doesn't make you better. I think
No.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you said that word entitlement.
No,
That's
yeah,
kind of the problem.
it is.
I
It is.
think, and I
But I
think
think
that comes from people not experiencing hardships.
true. But
100%.
Gene, everybody's unique. And
Yeah, we
and
are.
And so I think you can treasure that
Hmm.
without making it such a thing to where, like you're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
great is sliced bread really?
Well, considering I am gluten free, like not so
Who
good. But
cares?
however, when I do have it, every once in a while, I'm
I
like, oh my
I
god,
love this. I love this quote though. Memento
yeah.
Mori. I
Yep.
have a coin that has Memento Mori on it. I got from the Daily Stoic guy. But remember, you will die. I don't know that that's actually the exact translation of it.
No.
I think it's remember you must die. But whatever. But yeah, remember death. Right. Remember that at the end of it all, we all die the same death.
Yep.
We're all gone. So what are you going to do with the time you have? Are you going to spend it lording your entitlement over others, right? Or are you going to spend it celebrating the uniqueness of each other? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because we aren't permanent, man.
Nope. This too will pass.
If you don't know what you want, you end up with a lot you don't. No shit. But this story she's telling, how many times have we heard this? Like Coach Divine, that's his origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Is gonna run the family business, went to accounting school, Wanted to pull a bullet in his head because accounting is boring. Sorry, accountant friends. And then the guy does a 180 and becomes a Navy SEAL, which is about as far away from an accountant, except for the Ben Affleck accountant movie, about as far away from an
Right.
accountant as you can become.
Right.
Um,
No,
yeah,
I'm
I mean,
I
and
got you.
that's the protagonist's problem in Fight Club, right? I mean, that's why he beats people up in dark rooms when everyone else is sleeping. I mean, that's the whole point. I think.
It is. It is.
I mean, this right here, right? Self-awareness solves multiple issues. I mean, holy shit. Self-awareness probably solves 99.998% of the world's problems. I mean, if we
Agreed.
were just a little more self-aware, we'd probably shut the hell up a lot more than we do.
I,
I mean,
go ahead.
that's like life's thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. When I was clinically diagnosed with ADD at 36, it was one of those things that I was like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Now somebody finally says it, but with my ADD, it's the awareness that as long as I'm aware that that's something that my brain is going to continue to do, then like fuck it. It's having the awareness makes it so that you can deal with anything, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go on mute for just a second.
Yeah, do it, man. Yeah, this is I haven't read this book. I if you've if you're a listener or a watcher, whatever you are now, um, you've read this book, and we're kind of off the point here. Why don't you hit us up and let us know how far we off? But I don't know that we are, because I think, like I said, I think the movie's pretty dang close um, to this.
You know what I have self-awareness of sometimes?
What's that?
When I have to pee. All right. We're all humans. Anyway. Yeah, but yeah, the self-awareness, you're right. Going back to previous podcasts, like it's the awareness of yourself. It's taking the criticisms and the learnings that other people give you as well, and if you are aware that you are fallible,
Mm,
then you become a better person, because not only do you understand that you are going to make mistakes, but then either you can watch out for them and try to, intercede before they happen, or, you know, mainly you usually learn after your mistakes and become a better human because of them.
yeah, yeah, I would hope so. I mean, Jesus, I don't
Well,
know.
not everybody does.
I yeah, I always try to do a little AAR right
Mhm.
after things. I don't know that many people do that.
No, well,
Just go from one situation to the next.
because sometimes like that, sometimes you have to. Um,
Yeah.
This is, but yeah, your AAR is probably after action review. Should yeah. Sometimes you have to do it when you have that one quiet moment to yourself,
Hmm.
and you have to be introspective, and you just go,
Yeah.
okay, and it can be. That's all it
Yeah.
has to be. That's all it has to be. There have
Yep.
been times where
Yep.
I felt like that was all I could do, was just go,
Hmm.
the acknowledgement of it, not
Hmm.
even going through and analyzing, what happened, what happened wrong, what could I have done better? It's just the acknowledgement of it and the self-awareness of like, fuck,
Hmm.
I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have
Well,
done that, or
and I know
it's
you journal, you journal a lot, and I've had people ask me, like, I've read journaling can help me with things. Well, how do I get started? I mean, that's how you start.
yeah.
Like, once a day or once every 3 days or once a week, whatever, open up a notebook, write
Mhm.
in Like, think about some shit that went sideways and write it down.
Yeah.
And
Just
then write down, yeah,
acknowledge it.
what someone did to you or what you did to them, and then how you might
Yeah.
not do that again. Like, it's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes back to the Craig Kilborn thing too. Like, does this need to be said? Does it need to be said by, or does it need to be
Yeah,
said by me? Does it need to be said at all? Like
yeah.
it's those things. Like, what happened? You know,
Mhm.
what went wrong? No, what happened? What went wrong? How do I either make it better, or what decision could I make in the future for this,
Yeah,
not to be a thing? And and that's how you learn. That's how you learn anything.
yeah.
Through experience. You if you if you don't come back to it, then you are doomed to repeat the same mistake over and over again.
Yes, and a lot can be said about our government and our overall rulers, where it's like we just don't seem like we learn from shit that happens. We don't learn from history as a civilization. It just feels like that.
That's
Um, but I
I
think that go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that I love learning about history, and
Mhm.
I don't know why. But it's now, and I don't care who's in the White House. I don't care who's in the
Yeah.
whoever it is over where the prime minister is. It's 10 Downing Street, or anywhere else in the world. Like, I I enjoy history to find out more about what happened in the past, but I think that the other side of it is, like, I look at things and I'm like, wow, like, I can totally see things that have, happened, in the past year, that have happened in the past 3 years with everything that's
Mhm.
gone on, that's happened, in the past, where are we at? 6 years with,
Mhm.
different people, 2 different entirely, well, who knows if they were different or not, but entirely different types of people in the White House. Like, me, listening, reading, learning
Mhm.
more about history, I'm like, "Oh," like,
I know.
like, at this point, like, if you didn't see a lot of these things coming, then
I know. It's like
you
what
don't,
the
like, "Hey, we've been here before multiple times,"
Mhm.
and, you know,
Why
but
can't we get this right?
I know. Oh, like, dude,
But I
oh,
think it speaks to our base culture, base humanity is, it's that base ego. It's to protect yourself. It's to,
yeah,
you know, I mean, the fear or the fighting against change. That's what
yeah.
that's about. It's about like I don't want to change things because I'm doing this and I'm not dead yet, so it's got to be good.
Oh,
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
or things are good for me, you
yeah,
know?
the lack of awareness, the lack of empathy, the lack of understanding that, hey, everyone else doesn't see things the same way you do.
Yeah, yeah,
Just that basic understanding that everyone else has a different perspective than you.
right. We're all
Even
human.
people that grew up in the same house as you have
Sure.
different perspectives than you. Like it's that different. Like
Yeah,
you just have to understand that and shut the hell up about it.
yeah.
Like it seems simple to me, but I don't
And
know.
enjoy it for what it's worth too. Again, like, yeah, you're a snowflake, but you know, if we could embrace that a little bit more as a general society, as a, like, people are unique and we can celebrate the uniqueness. And this, listen, this isn't like me being progressive or anything like that. It's more just like, dude, everybody's different. Fucking deal
I
with
know.
that, and enjoy it.
I know.
And like, everybody has a different perspective because everybody has, again, had the same or different.
Right.
You're right. A couple of weeks ago in New York, I was talking to somebody, and I was like, "Do you have any siblings?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, I said, "Those siblings that you had in the same house with you had a lot of the same experiences as you. However, they see things totally different than you do,
Mhm.
on some things, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to
Right.
enjoy that and celebrate that, you know." When the ideas clash and when things are not working out for you, that, yeah, I think that that's when people are resisting change.
Yeah.
Change isn't always good, but change, you know if it's changed for the right purpose, then it
Hmm.
can be good. Whew.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
The last bit here. This is your life, and it's ending one moment at a time.
I love
And
that
then,
one.
and yeah, and then she's got this. Your time equals your life.
Yeah. That's
While we're sitting here, I'm going to give it a bunch of claps. Gonna make it
I
a
didn't know you could do more than one clap. That's
yeah.
funny.
I don't know what it means either.
Okay.
But yeah, dude, that's something that in the business world, I've really embraced. That man, and I'm gonna slaughter this, but anyway, somebody had posted like wealth equals how much free time you have. You know,
Yeah.
and this isn't. I'm not talking like your hobo cousin that like doesn't work at all, who does nothing but everything he absolutely wants to do. I don't
Mhm.
mean he's wealthy, he's a success. I mean, he's still a hobo that drinks in his backyard all day. I mean, like, the driven person who's a professional, they're successful in every, you know, written word, but they have absolutely no free time. You
Mhm.
know, they don't spend time with their family. They're missing their kids growing up,
Yeah.
because they're working so damn hard because they want to be successful. I don't know that that person has as much wealth as the person who is making a good living but has the time that they want to spend with their family, and then they
Yep.
do, and they actively spend it with their friends and family, or they do the thing that they want to do. Like I think that's the true wealthy person. And I know you've talked about that a lot,
Yeah. Well, I was just
in a
gonna
lot of
ask
these
you,
shows.
who is the Irish guy, Jeremy, that we traveled with, in Florida?
Jeremy Keith, talking about the guy that played
Jeremy
the
Keith.
mandolin. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I think I've told you before that when we were driving from Orlando to, Jacksonville, and I was talking about the happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise,
yeah.
and he was and, after knowing a little bit more where Jeremy was coming from, he questioned the wealthy part, and he's like, "Well, what do you mean by that? Why should you, try to be wealthy?"
Yeah.
And it was more like the question, like, and I said to him, "Listen, I feel like there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. And wealthy or rich is purely, and this is something that I've read about a lot and before, oh, I can't remember the name of the person that I was. Anyway, it come to me at 3 a.m. Some time zone that I'm on or not on, sometime later on. But, but they were talking about the difference between, being rich and being wealthy, and they're saying that, being rich is about money. If you wanna kinda break down maybe the words, but being rich is like, I have a lot of money,
Mm,
and that's kinda where it stops. Whereas my definition of wealth, and that I was trying to, say to Jeremy, is like, is it's about, is maybe some of it's money, but it's more about opportunity.
yeah. Well, let's not fool ourselves. I mean, you need a certain level of economic stability
Right.
to be
Eh,
happy.
to be happy, but also, if wealth equals time as well,
Hmm.
that somebody who's working all the time I think you're right. I don't feel that they're wealthy, because wealth is more than just money.
Yeah,
It's about having the resources and the opportunities to do the things that you want to do, not just what you need to do.
yeah.
And
I mean, you have a giant house full of the coolest shit, but you're
right,
never home to actually
right.
be in it or use any of your stuff. Like what? I mean, what?
Yeah.
Why do you even have it? Like I don't. Doesn't make
No,
sense.
it doesn't. But the wealth part of it is, you can have all those things, but it's about, again, I tell my kids, um especially when there's like, you know, either they just want to play video games or watch something or do something, and then like everything else gets ignored.
Yeah.
Trash gets ignored, school gets ignored, whatever. And I say to them all the time, like, listen, you have to do the things that are needed in
Mhm.
order to do the things that you want. And I said, if you work on the things that have to be done because they are, a basic necessity or, higher than a basic, like if you work on the things that you just have to get done
Yeah.
and you get them done first, you will be surprised how much time you have.
Word.
You will have more time because it won't be something that, like, you have to continually go back to, and every time you continue to go back to something, you have to start and stop and start and stop, and there's more startup time and stop time, just like a car engine. It's better to let it idle than it is to start it and stop it and start it and stop it. And so I said, "You're gonna get more time back, but also you're gonna get more mental freedom back as well if you do something right now and get it done,
Mm.
because you don't have to fucking worry about it
Yeah,
anymore.
right?
And then you can go and play all the fucking video games that you want. You can go and,
Yeah.
and watch everything. You can go and, like, play and swim and do all these things because you have focused on the things that need to get done,
Yeah.
and now you are wealthy because those things are taken care of,
Yeah.
and everything else is, enjoyment of life."
So go spend some of that wealth, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
And
damn.
I'm just gonna drop my mic and just walk
No,
away.
don't drop your mic.
No, I need that this week.
You need it. You need it.
Yeah, but, do the things you need to do so that you can do the things that you wanna do. That's what I tell them all the
Hell
time.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's solid. I think that's a solid way to end it. It's a good lesson.
cool.
Once again, thank you. I enjoyed talking to you, my friend.
I always enjoy talking to you.
All right.